if you have had something in your life that you've just been doing because you've been doing it and you're like, I don't know why I'm still doing this. I don't know if I even want to still do this. I just encourage you to ask yourself, yeah, like, are you doing these things because you think you should be, because you have been in the past, because it's a new year and you don't know what else to be doing? Or are you doing them because you really want to do them and because they're aligned with who you are and how you want your life to be? When we see everyone else announcing of our goals and what we want to do in this momentum, it can be really hard to look at yourself and be like, this was awesome, but I don't want to do it anymore. Or I'm going to completely change my identity and do something wildly different that no one is expecting of me. Welcome to the Blue Rose Podcast. I'm your host, Becca Blue Rose, a runner, storyteller, and believer in creating a life that feels like your own. Some weeks it's just you and me, and other weeks I'm joined by women who are chasing their own version of a bold, unapologetic life. Together we explore what it really means to take risks and trust your own path. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to this week's episode of the podcast. Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a fantastic new year, fantastic holiday season. I am slowly coming back to life after the month that was December. I almost didn't record this episode, and if you've been around for a while, I feel like you've heard me say that a few times throughout the last 3 years. And wow, I've been doing the podcast for 3 years, and sometimes I am just so hard on myself because I feel like I need to be on all the time. You know what they say, like consistency is key. You gotta keep doing it if you want people to listen. People expect consistency. You gotta keep going. Don't give up. All the things, right? But I'm gonna be completely honest with you. It's the beginning of the new year, and instead of feeling fired up and energized and ready to just charge forward, I honestly feel tired. I feel disconnected from direction, disconnected from people. I feel like I need a month-long nap. And so if you're listening to this and you kind of feel that way, this episode is definitely for you. So definitely stick around. My best friend and I were talking about this the other day because we subscribe to just like the calendar new year, right? January to December. And someone decided that January was just the new year. But if you think about it, the lunar new year is in March. And winter is like a time of hibernation and a time of relaxation. And it's not a time for me to be like, woo, I'm going to set all these new goals and I'm going to get after it and I'm going to get everything done. Like, I just don't feel that way in January. It's been forever since I've done New Year's resolutions. It's been forever since I've really like been able to put my finger on my goals and like have any sort of clarity in January. And granted, like, I know I'm saying that and I just had an episode out of like planning your year. Granted, I love that calendar and I love planning my year and I'm definitely using it. But it just feels like there's this like unspoken expectation when the new year comes that you're supposed to have clarity and you're supposed to have these new goals and these new drives and this new momentum, that like you're just supposed to be a whole new person, when really it's just like you're going from December 31st to January 1st and nothing has really changed besides the year on the calendar is different and it's like the start of a new year. And it's not even everyone's start of a new year. Like, not everyone subscribes to like January as the new year, right? And so if you think about it, like animals are hibernating, I kind of want to be hibernating. And if you're someone that listens to this podcast, I imagine that you are maybe going after something in some area of your life. And so for me, being in like an outdoor athletic space, trying to achieve and accomplish, there's always this idea that like it's like constant forward motion and you're always pushing and training and chasing and building. And then if you're not, you feel behind, right? But like, what if you're exhausted? And like, what if you just don't want to right now? And what if nothing is exciting you? And what if you just don't know what you want? And right now, let me tell you, I just don't know what I want. Does anyone else feel that way? I really feel that way. I've been struggling with feeling like I should be more motivated than I am. And there's also like some shame almost. Like I almost feel just really sad. Like I feel really sad that I don't feel energized and excited and motivated. And I know that sounds kind of silly because I just said like the new year is arbitrary and no one should tell you how you should feel in the new year. I'm going to say that right now. You get to feel however you want to feel, but there is a little bit of this shame that comes with I'm not ready for the new year or I need more time because everyone else is waking up on January 1st and you're seeing everyone's Instagram stories and they're cold plunging and going to the sauna and they're running 50 miles and they're going to the gym and they're walking their dog and they're drinking their water and they're eating their food and they're doing all the things. And I love that for you. I truly do. I'm so supportive of it. But then there's the other people that are like, okay, I'm not ready. I don't want to. I don't know what my goals are. And then I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but I start to like take on other people's goals. I'm like, well, they're drinking water and they're running and they're doing this and this and this. So I guess I could just do that because I don't know what else I want to do. And it feels like sometimes I like will latch on to what other people are doing and what they want and desire for their new year because I don't know what I want and what I need. And so I feel like I need to do something because I don't know. And so action is better than inaction. And so I just choose to do something. And then I'm like, what am I doing? Is this even what I want to do? I don't know. Something that I have been feeling deeply recently is the idea that if I don't have a New Year's goal or if I don't know what I want immediately, it kind of feels like it looks like weakness, like uncertainty looks like weakness. And the fact that I feel like I need rest in the new year feels a little bit like quitting. And a really good example of this is I have hosted a run club for the last pretty much year here in Salt Lake. And the gal who started the run club reached out to me and was asking about this year's run club, was asking about the commitment and what she wanted out of this year and how she wanted to see growth. And, I really respect that and I love that for her. But I feel like when she texted me, when you make decisions, there's like two decisions or there's two things. Like someone texts you and you feel like super excited and like, woo. And then there's the other text that you can receive and it's like, like you just feel this big energetic sigh. I just felt a lot of like shame and guilt because here she is asking me if I'm, ready to get after it in the new year and to help her see growth. And I'm like, no, like I'm tired. I have a lot going on and I don't feel like this feels aligned right now. And I was so scared to tell her that because I don't want to disappoint anyone. But for some reason this year too, I just feel like I need to like burn it all down and just start fresh and let things flow into my life as they do instead of just like filling up everything just to have it full. I felt really nervous to be like, yeah, I'm not going to do Run Club anymore because it just felt like I was a quitter. I really felt like I was a big fat quitter and I decided to do this thing. And who am I to not do this thing anymore? And a question that someone in my life asked me recently, and this was about my podcast. And so this is kind of made me full circle back to what I started with of like, I was maybe not going to record this episode because I feel like sometimes I don't have anything to say. A question that was asked to me was like, do I do my podcast because I still love it and I want to do it and I want to see it grow? Or do I do it because it's something that I've done and it's something that people know me as and it's just like who I am and it's just what I do? And I had to sit in that because no one has ever asked me that before. And I think that question was asked to me because I've been in this big, like, I don't know what I want moment where like all of December, I felt like I was putting all this pressure on myself to figure out, okay, what do I want? Who do I want to be? What are my goals? And I couldn't come up with anything. I was like, I don't know. I truly just feel overwhelmed and I want to say, I don't want to do anything. Like, I don't know. And so obviously now I've maybe had a little more clarity. I'm like, no, I love my podcast and I want to see it grow. grow. But it doesn't mean that there's not days where like momentum is hard and motivation is hard and getting up and doing it is hard. Even though I love it, it's an amazing thing and it's been a blessing. But doing it consistently for 3 years, this year I think I saw the least amount of consistency I've seen in the last 3 years. And I would love to change that this year and get back into being, more consistent. But last year I just felt like I was struggling with like doing the same things all the time. And so I don't know, but there was also a lot of shame and guilt in that of like, oh my God, what if I decided I didn't want to do my podcast anymore? Like that is shameful. That's guilty. I don't want to do that. I don't want to let down all the people that I've already had on this podcast. And now I don't see this podcast ending anytime soon. But the reason I'm saying that is because something I want to ask you guys is like, if you have had something in your life that you've just been doing because you've been doing it and you're like, I don't know why I'm still doing this. I don't know if I even want to still do this. I just encourage you to ask yourself, yeah, like, are you doing these things because you think you should be, because you have been in the past, because it's a new year and you don't know what else to be doing? Or are you doing them because you really want to do them and because they're aligned with who you are and how you want your life to be? Sometimes when we see everyone else like seeing the commitment and the consistency and the announcing of our goals and what we want to do in this momentum, it can be really hard to look at yourself and be like, this was awesome, but I don't want to do it anymore. Or I'm going to completely change my identity and do something wildly different that no one is expecting of me. And for some reason, we still care what other people think. And that is what is really hard, is that we keep having to set these New Year's goals and resolutions to stop caring what people think and to do something new and to hope people don't judge us. I mean, that's so much easier said than done. But the truth is, like, we don't owe anyone anything and we don't owe clarity to anyone. Like, it is our life and our goals, and we get to choose when and how we set them up. Gosh, we can start our goals in July if we want to. We can start goals in August. And I think that's the misconception about goals in the new year, is that, like, I feel like we should be able to set goals and to create new habits and to see the change that we want to see at any point in the year. I don't think it should be unique to the new year, and I think it's really unfair for ourselves. It's like being 18 and being told that you have to decide what your career is for the rest of your life, to then be like, okay, every January I have to decide what kind of person and what kind of habits and what kind of challenges I want to do for the entire year, and I'm not allowed to change my mind. That's basically what it is. And I do think there's something to planning, so I want to hold that with a caveat of like, I think there's something to planning. I think that if you don't plan it, it won't happen. But I also think that you don't have to have it all figured out on the first day of the year and that you are allowed to change your mind. Because what are we without changing our mind, ebbing and flowing? Maybe you do something and you're like, I really don't like this, even though I thought I would. At least you gave it a shot. Another thing I would like to bring up is that we all have a story around the new year. We all have set New Year's resolutions and have not completed them. We all have seen people's like 2025 wrapped and then feel like, okay, maybe I need to do something so that way my 2026 looks really good. We see highlight reels, we see goal lists, we see big plans, we see criticism, and we all have different stories around what the new year means for us. And some of it is feedback, some of it is old fears, some of it feels like we're behind, some of it feels like we're wasting time, some of it feels like that we're not doing enough, some of it feels like we're doing too much. Like there's so many stories around who we are on the new year and what we've done in the past. And so we kind of carry those into the next year and the next year and the next year. And, we're always trying to change and do better, which is amazing. But if this resonates with you, I offer you this question. Is this criticism about this year, or is it about something that is from different years ago? Like, are you holding on to a story that you've told yourself about the new year? Are you holding on to telling yourself that, okay, I have to have New Year's resolutions? Are you holding on to the fact that you feel pressure from other people? Like, what are you holding on to? And what do you actually want for the new year? You could make your new year March 1st. You can make it February 7th. You could make it June 10th. Like, there's no reason that we can't start our goals at different times of the year. And I think a lot of this stuff around New Year comes from, like believing in ourselves, right? Like, we want to believe in ourselves and set big goals and to do all the things that we've said that we're going to do. And I think that's awesome and that's powerful. But I think that you have to listen to your intuition and yourself and to know, what do you need during this season of life? And don't force yourself to have a new identity at the beginning of the year. Don't force yourself to have goals just because you think everyone else is and you think you should. Another thing that the new year brings up is comparison. I think comparison can feel so loud during the new year because, like I said, you see everyone's 2025 wrapped and you're like, did I do enough? Or do I feel accomplished enough? And the only thing I want to say to that is, if you are happy with your 2025, that's all that matters. If you needed a more restful 2025, that is beautiful. That is what you needed. If you needed a louder, a more social, I'm trying a 10 million new things year, amazing. That's wonderful. If you were somewhere in between, again, amazing. That is wonderful. But instead of asking yourself, why aren't I there yet? Why didn't I do this? Ask yourself, did I listen to myself and do what I needed last season? And how am I going to honor myself this season? My best friend is doing an Ironman. Amazing. Cheer her on. You don't have to do that. My best friend is starting art classes. Amazing. Cheer her on. You don't have to do that. My best friend is starting a business. Amazing. Cheer her on. You do not have to do that. Everyone has a different timeline. You do not have to be where someone else is. Now, granted, if you want to be where they are, amazing. Make steps to get there. But comparing yourself to someone else's journey just never ends well. And the new year can make that so difficult because all you see is what other people have done and what they have accomplished. And you know what? It's really hard to not compare yourself to other people and to feel like you're behind and you're not doing good enough and that you're not enough and that you aren't where you need to be. But if there's one thing I keep learning over and over again, is that my journey is my own. It doesn't look like anyone else's. It is unique. I am in charge. I get to control how I enter the new year. I get to control what it is I want out of life and what I need and what season of life I am in. And I don't have to have a word for the new year, an intention. I don't have to have it perfectly mapped out. And that is okay. There is nothing wrong with that. Maybe this year doesn't have to have a hard launch. Maybe it just needs a soft entry. And that is okay. So if you're entering the new year and you're feeling tired, unsure, you're quietly trying to understand what it is you want and what it is you need, this is a space for you. You're not late. You're not failing. You're just early in the process and it can't be rushed. And on the flip side of that, if you know exactly what you want, I am so happy for you. Keep doing what you're doing. There's also space for you. But just know that if there is a day that you're like, I don't know what I want, that is okay. All right, guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for letting me start this year honestly. Thank you for consistently showing up and listening, even when I have no idea what I want to say. This is the Blue Rose Podcast, and I just appreciate you guys being here. All right. Thanks, guys. Bye. Thanks for listening to the Blue Rose Podcast. If you love this episode, please hit follow, leave a review, or send it to a friend who's building their own bold life. Keep trusting yourself, and I'll see you next week.